let's jump into this game. Now, one thing that I would like to say at the beginning is you are, what's your MMR?
Uh, 2000 and
2.9.
2.2,
Okay.
yeah, 2.9.
2.9K. So you are 3K, and the beautiful thing about being in the MMR bracket that you are in is that honestly, it doesn't matter if you get countered as a hero. It doesn't matter too much. The best thing is that you need to know how to play around uh, having counters to yourself, even hard counters. Even if you pick a Morphling and there's an anti-mage or a PL, you need to be able to play around that fact. Now, what is like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh God, look, they picked a counter to you, game over. It's hard life. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you lose these games. No, what I'm gonna say is, okay, if your team, somebody in your team has given up and just feeding and whatnot, okay, that kind of a thing. Sure, there's ways you can win those games as well, but that's kind of a shitty way to play a game anyway. And there's no point winning. Trying to win even honestly for me I don't even bother with those games even if I can win I don't really give a shit but this is Dota. You get countered. This is Dota, and where your skill comes in is when you actually play around being countered. Honestly, I don't think you should even look at these things as, oh, I just got countered. No, you think of it as a challenge. You think of it as, okay, this is an opportunity for me to outplay my enemy. And on Morphling, it's so easy. Okay, you think Anti-Mage and PL are counters to Morphling. Well, you've got a bloody ability called Replicate. You replicate, what's his name? Phantom Lancer. You make an army of Phantom Lancer. You drain his mana. He drains your mana. You drain his mana. And if you're slightly better than him, you can actually avoid getting your mana drained and completely drain his mana. In fact, I sometimes, if it's the right lineup, I'll actually pick Morphling into an anti mage because you make a anti mage illusion, and then you can drain his mana, and you have a stronger anti mage on your team because at level at max level, replicate actually does more. No, wait, here. You can actually get 50% more damage from the replicate. So you can actually end up having, what is that, 80% plus 50, 130%. So your replicate will be even stronger, 30% stronger than the enemy hero. Sure, he can't use abilities, but that's besides the point. Right click wise, most carries are mostly just right click wise. So definitely one big thing that you have to think about is when it's a normal game. This is a normal game. This is not something that you can be like, oh, people are beating or things like that. This is what Dota is. You need to be able to have the right mindset and not worry too much about being countered. Now, jumping into the actual game, you're a ranged hero. For all intents and purposes, you are a ranged hero. There's really no need for having two sets of regen on a Morphling, unless you are up against like a Sand King or a tri-lane situation or something horrible like that. But in this particular game, there's really no need for having two sets of regen. Another thing is that it looks like you're going for a um, poor man shield. Now that's the another thing that you Morphling a ranged heroes mostly don't need poor man shield, and Morphling especially, you really don't need poor man shield. What you do need is wraith bands. In fact, even if you have two wraith bands, I'm okay with that. In fact, if you say I got these to get two wraith bands, I'm completely happy with that. But I'm pretty sure that is not the case in this game, right? You're going for a PMS, right?
Yes, I buy that
Yeah.
for boost my damage.
Yeah.
Boost my
So
damage.
yeah, for damage, you started off at level. You started off with Agigain, but you
Yeah.
morphed only to 520. Now, the thing is, like, at the start of the game, you're not going to take too much damage. You can actually morph all the way down to, you know, four. Depends on how comfortable you feel at morph. Like, a really high level player, especially against a Slardar, you can actually morph down to 350 HP on its own, like where you are right now, and it's completely fine. But for me, if I was you, I would morph from somewhere around 400, just above the 400 mark, 410, 420, whatever. Probably 420
Oh,
is the lowest I can go based on, you know, how
yeah.
yeah. So with that much right click damage, you actually don't need additional, especially because I'll be starting off with a Wraith Band, which gives me 9 damage to begin with. So you definitely do not need permanent shields for the damage, and you should never look in an item in a sense that, oh, this item gives me damage, so I should get this. No, look at what the main purpose of that item is. Permanent shield, the main purpose of permanent shield is the block damage, right? Whatever
Yes.
additional whatever additional benefits PMS gives, it should not be considered at all when you're purchasing that item. So think of it as it gives you no agility and no damage. All it gives you is damage block. Would you have bought that item in this game? Probably not. Oh, it actually looks like you're going for Wraithman anyway, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. That's good.
But Ben's tried to uh what's it after with train as Basilius. I don't know what the name of item is.
Yeah, Aquila. Um,
Yes, Aquila.
So the whole reason why your starting item build got so messed up is because you actually ended up buying an extra healing salve where you didn't even need it. Because look at your HP right now. You're full HP. In fact, you're very very close already to buying a to being able to afford a ring of health. So even if you were in a lane where you were taking a little bit of damage, like even if you were standing neck to neck with this Slardar and he was sprinting up to you, stunning you and damaging you a little bit, you could have just gone and purchased a ring of health and you would have been fine. So it's all of these things, like you ended up buying boots of speed. I really don't think, like, in this lane right now, what do you think? What are you going to use boots of speed for? What are you using boots of speed? You're not chasing down Slardar. You're not gonna be able to chase down Slardar even with boots of speed because he's just gonna outrun you anyway. He's gonna stun you, outrun you. There's no way you can chase this Slardar. So having boots early in the early game, 400 gold. You just spend 400 gold on an item which is absolutely gonna do nothing at all for you in this lane. If you'd bought two Ring of Hell, sorry, if you'd bought two Wraith Bands, or if you'd bought a full Aquila right now, it would have been quite a big deal. Like with a full Akita, right now you just you do this. That's a really really bad. That's a really bad waveform the way you did it. But if you just keep waveform, if you have an Aquila, you can keep waveforming this guy quite a lot, and it gives you free damage on the enemy. And the reason why this was a bad waveform is because that was your only escape. Yes, you do have more strength morph, but if you notice, where did that go? Right here. See, when you use waveform, the enemy creep wave just came in. Your creep wave is here. You use waveform, and you actually killed most of the enemy creep wave. So right now, um, yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I was thinking Slardar could have stood his ground, but Slardar is he's level 4. Of course, he's also solo, so he's going to be the same level as you. Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter. This is 3K, so whatever I was going to say, forget about it. I mean, just don't worry about it. Those things don't matter in this bracket. But yeah, main thing is that if you have an Aquila instead of Boots of Speed, like even in this particular engagement right now, if you'd had Aquila, you would have been able to do like a lot more damage to Slardar because Aquila gives you 20 extra damage. Boots of Speed doesn't give you any damage or anything at all. Even the damage from Slardar, his Slytherin Crush, his physical damage, his right clicks are obviously physical damage. Having an Aquila would have given you 2 extra armor. You already got pretty decent armor. Aquila gives you even more armor, which means you take even less damage. So all in all, like it's you have to think about all of these things when you're going for, especially every single time, every single stage of the game, early game itemization at every point in the game is really really important. And the main thing that I want to draw your attention to is always be thinking about the items that you buy, and think about, you don't only think about what you need later on, but you also have to think about what you need right now. Both of them are equally important. Yes, you need boots of speed eventually, but your hero has a lot of mobility. So do you really need boots of speed right now? Not really, especially because there's no having boots of speed doesn't mean you're going to be able to kill the enemy, and having boots of speed doesn't mean you're going to be able to run away from the enemy. You know, or
Yes.
that you even need to. So there's no pudge here. There's nobody to slow you down. And similarly, there's nobody in your, you don't have a support who's gonna slow this guy down so you can just run and chase him, or you don't, your hero isn't really built to do that. The way Morphling kills people is he waveforms in and he just stands in one place and right clicks people down because his movement speed is just so slow. Like even with boots, you're slower than most heroes. Like this guy has got 355 movement speeds with boots, and you've only got 330. So even if you have boots, whether you have boots or whether you don't have boots, it makes absolutely no difference as far as going on Slardar. And the same goes for running away from Slardar. So um, that's what I'm. That's basically what I'm saying. And look at
Yes.
this healing salve. Like you still have a full healing salve. Like it's 6 minutes in. If you needed a healing salve, you could have bought it now. So that was 100 gold at the beginning of the game that you spent on an item that you absolutely didn't use. You could have been much higher in the net worth because you would have had much more CS had you had a little bit more damage from, let's say, the Wraith Van. You know. So these are the kind of
Yes.
things that you need to be thinking about. Like waveforming here. What is the purpose of waveforming here? Are you gonna waveform there and quickly go to the jungle, stack and farm, and increase your farming speed that way? No, not really. All you're gonna do is go here. You're gonna buy an item and you're gonna come back to the lane. So what was the point of using 160 mana, half of your mana pool? Literally, you used half of your mana pool to nuke down a creep wave. You didn't even damage the Slardar. Even if you were like nuking the creep wave down and damaging the Slardar, it would be like, okay, at least you're damaging the Slardar, but you're not even doing that. You're missing last hits even though you have a lot of right click damage. So all of these things, they come into play. Your mana management is poor. Your last hitting needs a lot of help. You just need to be more, um, think a little bit more, be a little bit more, you know, active, or rather the right word is probably like awake. Be Your actions are important and you need to think about each one. You can't just waveform into a creep wave without a reason. Without a good reason. Obviously you have a reason, but you have to have a good reason. Like what was the reason for creep waveforming there? Absolutely no reason at all. You didn't do anything.
To
So
clear out the creeps, the webs, but
absolutely,
it just
to clear
but
out the
this it
creep wave,
it's just the
but
habit.
yeah, but like to clear out the creep wave, but for what reason? You can just right click them and clear them out. You don't use mana for right clicks. So
Yes.
so you cleared it out faster with waveform. You cleared out the creep wave faster. Okay, you cleared it out faster. So what are you gonna do with that time? If you're gonna do something with that time, that's a good reason to clear out the wave faster. If you're not gonna do anything with that time, then you're just wasting your mana there. You know,
Yeah.
like if right at that point you had waveformed, it would have been a good reason because you would have missed that last hit, even though it wouldn't have been a very good reason because you're using 165, again, half of your mana pool just for one last hit, which you shouldn't have missed anyway because you should have been more aware of what's happening in the lane. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have
Sir.
a Ring of Aquila, you have a Void Stone. Not a big fan of the way you're going about this. I think a much better item here would have been to upgrade your Boots of Speed to Treads first because it also increases your farming speed. It gets you your next item faster. It makes you a little bit more survivable. Not that you need a lot of survivability, but having a little bit more attack speed, not a little bit, quite a lot more attack speed, and on top of that, um, I'm not going to stress too much about tread switching, but when you play heroes like Morphling, tread switching is a big deal. What are you afraid of here? You have a full self still. You have a perseverance. This guy, look at this guy. Look, he has two sets of regen as well, but he doesn't have a perseverance. You can go and harass this guy, make him use his healing items, then keep harassing him even more so that he has to go out of lane. He has to go back to base. Instead, you're being forced to farm these, worthless, almost worthless little small camps where there's a creep wave right here. You're gonna miss all of this farm. You need to be here. There was no reason for you. There's no reason for you to be doing what you're doing. There, if you even if you're worried about being ganked, there's no way for them to kill you right now. Two people cannot kill you. The only person who can kill you right now is Lena. You know, because even if they stun you and everything, you can just whenever they stun you, as soon as they stun you, you just press one blood button, and then they can't kill you anymore, and then you just waveform away from there. Not a big fan
Mm.
of you, the way you level things up. You're not going to use adaptive strike at all, but replicate can actually save your life. Like, not only save your life, but allow you to play very, very aggressively. Like, you're playing way too defensive. You're just not aware, very much aware of how your hero, how strong your hero is, and how he can die. You know, you're afraid of a Windrunner and Slardar, which is not, you should not be afraid of them at all. In fact, if you had Replicate, you could even try to get a kill on Slardar, honestly. No,
Seems like I'm really bad at Morphling. Maybe I'm still got so much to learn about Morphling.
no, it's probably you're getting a coaching session. My job here is to look at all of your weaknesses and tell you, your what you're doing wrong. So you're not as bad as as I'm making you feel, probably. All I'm saying is
Yeah,
these are all the
yes.
things that you can improve, and then you can be
Okay,
so much better.
okay.
Because 11 minutes in, you've got 65 CS, and if you look at the CS, let's compare. Like, if you want to compare yourself to other people in your game, and this guy was in jungle, all of his CS is probably small creeps. So that doesn't count. So the next person, wait. Yeah, okay. Both of these guys were in the jungle, and this is very normal to see jungling heroes have a really high CS because they're not missing last hits, right? So it's guaranteed CS. The next person in lane is 47 CS, so you are like, how much is that? That's about um 18 CS more. So you're 18 CS more than the next farming person. So you're doing pretty decently assets wise. But what I'm saying is, by tweaking your build a little bit more, I'm not even saying improve your last hitting. All I'm saying is, at the start of the game, instead of buying a healing salve, buy a wraith band. And instead of this 65 last hits right now, you could have had 75. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Yes,
Maybe not 75, but 70. But that's 5 CS is like 250, 300 gold, you know, which is a lot, which is a big deal, especially when you're playing a carry.
yeah.
And also, like, things like replicate. Okay, so it's fine. You're 3K. You're gonna. This is how you sometimes experiment. Sometimes, maybe one time you played Morphling and you picked replicate, and it really didn't work out for you. Or another time you played against somebody who had adaptive stride and got a kill with adaptive stride at an early level, and you thought it was really good. So it's fine. It's okay to experiment, but at the end of the experiment, you have to figure out for yourself, was it actually worth it? And I can guarantee you, 100% of the time, if you don't want to level up replicate at level 12 for the second level, that's fine. I don't think you can do that anymore because there's no stats. I'm not sure, but at level 12, you don't want to put a second point in, and it's fine. But definitely a value point at level 6, it's really, really crucial. It literally can save your life. Like, adaptive strike, if you had a replicate right now, you could have left a replicate of Slardar over here while you come to this lane, TP here, do whatever you need to do, and now this lane is dead. There's nothing going to happen. You go back to that lane and you keep farming. You see?
Yes, yes.
And even at that time when you were afraid of getting some farm, when Windrunner was up there, first of all, you didn't really need to be afraid of him. But even if you wanted to be afraid of him, you could have just had a replicate out somewhere, and then as soon as they go on, you just replicate to that, and then you can just, not even worry a little bit. So all of these are small things. So yeah, just farm here. That's good. At least you're making a little the most out of the situation. But as you saw, like, this adaptive strike, even though you have level 3 adaptive strike, the problem is you actually don't have that much agility. Adaptive strike goes off on your agility, so you don't actually have the tools for this particular spell to be useful. In fact, if you had nope, if it was possible to not have a single point in adaptive strike right now, it would have been completely fine. I'm really surprised that you uh,
Didn't
had
pick
the
the talent.
yeah, exactly, because 200 mana means one extra waveform, which means, more farm from jungle farm. Morphling, you know, if you have treads and you have mana regen items, you can farm the jungle incredibly fast if you tread switch, especially with 200 extra mana. It's really, really good. Anyway, let's see how you Go do in this. You do that. Okay, you're gonna get the kill. Replicate,
No.
replicate. Ah,
Yeah.
all you once again, all you had to do was replicate. Click on replicate on this hero. Go back to your replicate and right click this person. Guaranteed dead person. Don't dive in there now. Good job. I really like the fact that you didn't actually now replicate. Waveform out. That's good. You might actually. Is he gonna go for you? He's gonna
Yes,
attempt
fun.
to. No, okay. Okay, that's fine. And once again, you could have used replicate here to make a Phantom Lancer illusion, and then keep it here. That's a free TP back to lane, and then you have another TP just to go wherever next you want to. So just these small things. All you needed to do was make a replicate of that Phantom Lancer illusion, and that means you don't waste 50 gold for a TP, and that also means you have a TP immediately available in case you need it. Another thing is that you went to base and you didn't morph to agility. I think that's a huge mistake. That is such a huge mistake. You want to morph to agility because the more agility you have, you more damage, right click damage you have. You're not really, especially because at this point, until you get your Lincoln Sphere, you're not
Lincoln.
gonna fight. Yeah, you're not gonna fight. You're mostly just looking to farm, and you're not gonna take that much damage from jungle farm, and especially because the more agility you have, the more armor you have. So you could have had somewhere around 650 HP hit points, and you could have had the rest all on agility, and you should have just been farming jungle. And with like every chance you get to have a replicate illusion, just send it to another part of the lane, another part of the map where there's like farm, so you just farm this wave quickly, farm this camps over here quickly, and then replicate out to another point where you can farm that. Um, so yeah, it's all of these really, really small things that you should be. Where are you going?
Uh,
What are you trying to
I'm
do here?
defend bottom tower.
Yeah, there's no need to do that. As honestly, there's no need. What you should have done is you left all of this farm over here to come and defend this bot tower against what? Nobody's even trying to take this tower. SF could have TP'd to this lane and taken all this farm, and now you're too poor splitting up this farm. So what you should have done is you should have taken these three camps in the jungle, and then reassess the situation. Like, okay, is my jungle is this lane still free? Is somebody else in this lane? Is there anywhere else I can go? All of these questions you should have asked yourself at that point. But definitely, you should have taken the jungle farm. Okay, nice replicate. See,
Yes.
this is you just avoided a gank right there because you had a replicate out. All right, moving forward. So now somebody's taking that farm, and you have to walk all the way. I mean, it's such a big waste. These are small. Like by this time, you 100% you should have had a Lincolns. In fact, you should have had if you've got brown boots, you're rushing Lincolns. Definitely, you should have had the Lincolns by 18 minutes according to 3K standards. Literally, like 2.9K standards essentially is what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
because you made all these really, really small inconsistencies, you're literally 2 minutes delayed. You're 2 minutes 2 minutes behind on your Lincolns, especially considering the kind of game you've had. Like you didn't get ganked, you didn't. It was a free farm lane. Slardar didn't at all harass you. Like even the two stuns that he did, it's like what is that? There's nothing. You didn't even lose. Like you didn't even use tangos to regen. It's just yeah. What you're doing right now, it's not very good. Once again, because you need to have treads before you go for what do you call it?
Betrayal.
Yeah, E-Blade,
Betrayal.
because you
Betrayal.
need to have you need to have a little bit more mobility, a little bit more movement speed. You need to have a little bit more agility, and you need to be, right clicking a little bit more. The way you're going about it is too bare. It's like rushing things. This is very actually very very common in the lower brackets to just rush things. People start rushing ags on, Crystal Maiden first item ags. What the hell are you trying to do? You don't even have mana, and you're going to run into a similar situation where you're actually not going to have either mana or enough agility to be able to pull off what you need to pull off. If you wanted to have I always try to fill up your inventory first. Like you've got boots here, you've got Aquila here, you've got Lincoln's here, you've got TP here. You should fill out these two items. If you're going for E-Blade, that's a really, really big committal, big item. What you could have had here is maybe a full Wraith Band and a Magic Wand here, and upgraded treads. And then that's 4,000. Wait, that's not 4,000. It's five, yeah, nearly 5,000 gold. So now you've got six slots. All your entire inventory is filled up. In fact, instead of Wraithband, I would have really liked Raindrops here. So you got Raindrops here, you got Magic Wand here, and you've got upgraded boots, and that's it. You're six slotted. That's a very decent full inventory, right? You've got everything you need, and now you're working quickly as possible, farming as quickly as possible towards your 5,000 gold item, right? Or actually even 3,200 gold item, and what do you call it? You have a TP ready in case a fight breaks out because you want to be able to use that Lincoln's, like you have Lincoln Spear and Treads, and you're ready to take a fight, and you've got a little bit extra HP from your raindrops, like 100 and
Yes.
120 extra HP on a Morphling because you're usually going to have somewhere around 800 HP. So having another 120 HP against Magic Burst is quite a big deal. So you're very, very strong in fights, but right now it's hugely lackluster. Like you've got 34 extra strength, which you could have put on agility, but you have to have it on strength because you don't have the items to allow you to survive in
The fight.
potential ganks and whatnot. And also you're farming pretty slowly because you don't have like two of your inventory slots are completely empty and a third one has got a completely useless item more or less. Like you don't really need boots speed, to be very honest with you, because you could have just maneuver literally. If I was you, I could have had my inventory filled up without boots and I would be farming much faster than you if you use your replicate and you use your waveform properly and TP scrolls, of course. It looks like you are going
Okay.
towards treads now, but I feel like it's a little bit late. Like the kill score is 19-4, and look at your KDA. You got nothing at all. You have not been
Yes.
in any team fights. You've had Lincolns for 5 years now. You've not been part of anything like that replicate. What was that? Not sorry, replicate that waveform. What was that
Yes.
waveform?
One.
This
But
just
where from?
where's your replicate at? You need to have like the enemy team is all obviously very far ahead. So where's your replicate? You need to have a replicate back in case you get into some trouble. Like you had a long time as well. You need to have a replicate back so you can, if situation gets tough, you can just replicate out. And now you make a replicate, and you're actually sending the replicate in,
And
and
I going to.
now you just let your replicate die as well. And then you use your adaptive strike to get a last hit on the Legion command. I mean, come on, man, don't do that. Use your adaptive strike first. Use it for the maximum damage, so that so you bring down the enemy quicker instead of you. Like, I hate it when people use heroes like Lena's Laguna Blade. They use 650 damage and they use it at the last 10 damage, 10 HP to just get the kills. Like what the hell? Anyway, looks like this game is actually over now because the SF has actually abandoned. So, at the beginning you said, "Oh, the Phantom Lancer, he he's a counter," but it wasn't even the Phantom Lancer that lost you this game. It was actually you and SF. Because the reason why it was you is because you actually didn't get around to having, most people by about 22 minutes they
25.
should have e-blade, you know and it's 26 minutes and you're still not even close to e-blade.
Hmm.
But
So
yeah,
many mistakes.
if this SF disconnects, then definitely game is over. Like then there's no point
Here,
watching
reconnect
anymore.
again.
Like let's go back a little bit. All right. You have a replicate out, I think. Yeah, you have a replicate out.
Yes.
Legion commander comes, and you cannot use. He has Dune. What the hell is happening? What the hell just happened? You cannot use Morph Strength when Legion Commander duels you. Um, this was a
Yes.
big misplay
Mistake.
from Legion Commander. Yeah, all she needed to do was pop Blade Mail and ult you, and I'm not sure why he didn't. You were so late. There were two things you could have done. There were three things that you could have done. Soon as you see Legion Commander, you could have morphed out. You could have immediately pressed Ghost Scepter, so he even if he duels you, nothing happens. Or you could have pressed Strength Morph immediately, and again, his duel is wasted. But you did none of
Okay.
those things. You're actually trying to kill the guy who literally would have killed you. He won 100%. He's 106 damage stolen. Not stolen, duel victory. He hits for 300 damage per hit. Not to mention the moment of courage, which is just free right clicks and heal. 100% he kills you. He kills you within a few seconds, and you just stand there trying to fight him. So another thing that comes into play here is just not being very. How many games of Dota do you have? Like how long have you been playing? Oh, 2,000 hours. Okay. So you've only played 2,000 hours. So you know what? You're doing pretty damn good, honestly. You're nearly 3K. Is this your only account or do you have another account?
This is my main account.
You have another account?
My new account, but I recently my made new account to my higher MMR than my main account, but I abandoned it because uh recently I read that my we can only calibrate at max 3.5 k MMR right now,
Yeah.
so I abandoned it. Then I continue with this account, my main account.
Okay. Um. Okay. So you have more games on your other account, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, never mind. Uh, I mean, the thing that you need a little bit more of is what you need is a hero pool. You definitely need a hero pool right now. That's your biggest issue, I would say. 100%. That is your biggest issue. You don't have the grasp on the hero that you're playing, as good a grasp on the hero that you're playing as you need. Like I can see you've got a few Lena games here, you've got a few Ember games here, and that's good. That's good. You stick to a few heroes, but all these random, like there's a Magnus suddenly here, there's a Kunkka. Don't do that. You
Yes.
shouldn't do that. You should have like a small group of heroes that you play. I
I
don't know.
play Kunka as a joke with my friends.
All right, yeah. So even when you're playing with your friends, just stick to a few heroes. Let's say 5 or 6 heroes, and only play those 5 or 6 heroes. And the good thing is, like, if you play only those 5 or 6 heroes, you will understand those heroes to a huge degree, and most of the mistakes that you made in this game are because you actually don't understand Morphling. You don't even know Morphling. Like you're right now, you're standing here, you're hitting creeps, you're trying to take towers down, and you're nearly fully strength morph. These kind of mistakes you literally cannot afford to make. You could have actually taken this tower down if you morphed all the way to agility. That was completely free. I don't know, 400 whatever gold. Um,
in
and
that
and, and
situation, I saw that the enemy team is disappear and one of them is like tipping, and I got scared and back into the base.
Yeah, but who are you afraid of is my question. Like, who can kill you here? Who can kill you is the main question. Like, you haven't clicked on anybody. I haven't really noticed you clicking on anybody to see what items they have that you would be afraid of. Like most people, you've got once you have a Lincoln's, uh, most people can't kill you, especially in this lineup. The only way you die is if Slardar jumps you, stuns you, pops your Lincolns with his ult, and then Lena stuns you on top of that, and then they all use your abilities, and even then you're constantly strength morphing. So I mean, I don't even know how they kill you, honestly. This
I'm
is
afraid of Phantom Lancer because he burns mana.
okay, okay, but you have a waveform. You can just get away from there, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, you've got replicate, so you should just push yourself as far as you can possibly go. Keep pushing this lane. Keep split pushing. Take down this tower. Split like if you were here taking this tower, how the hell are they gonna push high ground? There are literally five heroes standing over here from the enemy team doing jack shit. If you are pushing this tower and you take this tier two for free, if PL comes,
Yeah.
you make a replicate of the PL. I don't know, whatever. Or you, if you have to replicate back, you just replicate back.
I
Or
only I only realized that when you said it.
okay, no worries, no
Uh,
worries. This is what learning is all about. It's completely fine.
yeah.
It's completely fine. But like this is the thing. Like if you were playing Morphling a lot, if you had like 50 games of Morphling, or more, you would know these things. You don't need me to tell you these things because you would have played him so much. You would have researched him. You would have gone on Dota 2 wiki and read all his abilities. You would have watched a few pro games with Morphling. This is how you learn essentially. You build a small hero pool. You say, okay, these are the heroes. This hero and this hero and this hero and this hero. These are the four heroes that I want to learn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch YouTube videos. I'm going to read different guides. I'm going to experiment with them in my pub games. I'm going to push them to the limit. I'm going to like fully push them to the limit. Okay, I died 50 times in this game. Fine, that's no problem at all. I know that I can't push him this much. Let's bring it back a bit. Okay, in this game I died 10 times. Oh, okay, so I know the limits a little bit more. And you get to the point where now you're killing 30 people and you're not dying a single time because you've just pushed your heroes to such limits that you understand the hero in and out. And now you need to do that for like 5 6 heroes, and then you expand on your hero pool little by little by little. So that's Dota. That's Dota right there. um but yeah,
Yes.
the game pretty much is, it's in a pub game
Over.
when you were playing a carry and you don't have any impact for 30 minutes. Now you have an E-Blade. Essentially, your entire team has lost hope long time ago. Long time ago. So, whatever you do at this point, it's not really that going to be that strong. Even if you end up winning the game, which I don't think you will, you pretty much lost this game, right? Oh my
Yes.
god. Yeah, it's like that kind of a echo stomp. That wouldn't have happened if you guys were ahead because it's one of the biggest things when it comes to playing the pubs is people get discouraged, and once you get discouraged and once you lose hope, you know emotions come into play, and you're not going to win unless the enemy team throws super hard.
I'm sorry, pardon.
What I was saying is that people get emotional, and they lose hope
Yes.
in a
Give
pub.
off.
Even though I
Yeah.
think, even though right now you guys might be in a position to win this game, even then you're not going to win this game because people in your team have lost hope. But I think the chances of you winning this game are slim at best. It's a sort of an understatement. But yeah, I mean, I think this game is over, and I think that's all we need to talk about. And I think what we need to do first off is um, decrease your hero pool. You need to go and find four or five heroes that you like to play, and just stick to those heroes. Where is
Okay.
your name?
Uh,
Go
I
to
stick to the heroes and play it until I master that and
Yeah,
move
absolutely.
into the another hero.
Go to Dota 2 wiki, read about the hero, like read this entire page about that hero. Go to YouTube and watch some pro players playing that hero full games, from player perspective. Actually, you can't do that from YouTube, but let's just go, watch tab, live. Yeah, just put in like Morphling, and just watch any high level game. Somebody playing Morphling, maybe even like click on a tournament and go on a previous Morphling game. I have no idea who played Morphling, to be honest.
Can you
Uh,
suggest some pros that really good playing Morphling?
Liquid might have played more. There we go. There you go. That's a Morphling game. Matumba Man Morphling. Oh no, no Matumba. Burning. Oh yeah, the king. Look at that.
Burning.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you watch this game, uh, 4 or 5 times from player perspective, you're gonna learn so much. There's no way I can teach you the amount of stuff that you will learn from watching that game alone. You know. Um,
Yeah.
so go and do that. That's the more important thing. Okay.